that's one thing you will never hear a Candace Owens, a Officer Tatum, anyone really on the right, especially if they got some color in their skin. They're not going to talk about an interview like this. They'll talk about every single rapper that does X, Y, and Z that will bolster up their talking points. They talk about rappers all the time, but only when it benefits them. Now, when it comes to black culture and trying to make blackness great again, like I'm not sure if that's going to work, but trying to improve my culture is one thing that I at least want to accomplish in my lifetime, okay? Because I know it's not as evil and poisonous as a lot of these grifters like Candace Owens and Officer Tatum and a lot of these white supremacist ideologies like to think. There's a lot of rich things that you can learn from, enjoy, and it's entertaining. And when it comes to hip hop, it's a lot of critiquing that can be done. I am not a big fan of hip hop today. I do believe when it started, like actually 50 years ago, I think this week is the 50th year anniversary for hip hop. It originated from a good place, from a actual, fight the power type of foundation, and it kind of evolved into something that's just spectacle. You know what I'm saying? You can say what you want, do what you want on the mic just to get the bag, and that's it. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of things I don't agree on, and that's definitely for another video. But when individuals like Young Jeezy or just Jeezy today can publicly come out and say, I don't live that lifestyle no more. That lifestyle, it wasn't good for me. I got out of it, and now I am proclaiming, I am advocating, I am advertising a better life. You have to give credit when credit is due. I used to be a fan of Young Jeezy. His music was definitely the opposite. If you know anything about, Young Jeezy, you already know. You know what I'm saying? But we're going to watch this a couple of clips he did with the Breakfast Club, and it's interesting. Now, we can have our questions after the interview, but it is at least interesting to hear what he has to say. So let's go ahead and watch these clips, and we're gonna have that conversation.
When did that happen?
I mean, it happened a few times. The last time it happened is when I got locked up in LA on that Wiz Khalifa tour. It was just a reality check. You know what I'm saying? And I almost was, they basically tried to charge me with murder and my team with murder, and it just like, I ain't do nothing wrong. So for me, that was one of the moments, like, no matter how successful you are, you know what I'm saying, they really still, and I just was like, man, I had to just switch it all up. And then a lot of things happened in the time that I was in jail that I thought some people was gonna look out for me, but they didn't. And that really crushed me, because it was just like, I always look out for everybody, bro. Like, I'm always taking care of people. And I just kind of felt like you just do it, because you're a real one. And then when you start figuring out, like, damn, you might be the only real person in this situation, now you like, damn, I'm by myself. And I just had to, make a change, man. I remember just calling home and talking to my daughter. My first daughter had just been born then. And it was just embarrassing, man, to call, you're supposed to be this big man, this superstar, and you calling home, collect, from jail. And your baby's on the other line that can barely even talk, and she's, where you at? And you like, Daddy's gonna be home in a minute. Like, it's like, you know what I mean? It was like, damn, like, bro, you better, And so that was like the real time. But every time before that, it was just always instances where I just knew that this wasn't gonna work out for me, right? So I had to figure out how to change without losing everything. You know what I'm saying? Because it got to a point even with the music, and people say it all the time, I want your old music, but it's just like, that was my old life. Like, I can't continue to give you something that I'm not doing. It's like me trying to give you some food in my house I don't even eat. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, you get caught up in that, and then if you're not careful, you'll get stuck in that mindset, right? and you'll continue to do the same things. And that's why a lot of people didn't understand the verses. It's like, nah, bro, like I started this in my mind. I gotta put an end to this. Like I went to Nipsey Hussle's funeral. You feel what I'm saying? Like I was there. I felt that pain. I felt that energy. And I'm like, I don't understand why Nip is not here no more. You know what I'm saying? I don't know why it hit me so serious when Pop Smoke died. You know, maybe because he was in my studio when I threw Puff a Super Bowl party. I didn't even know who Pop was. He was with Meek and Fab and all these guys. He was in my studio house. We all partied. And I was like, who's that? They're like, Pop. I was like, okay, cool. The next time you hear about him, he dead. But like why he did all this work, you know, to become a superstar and to get out of Brooklyn, and then you go die in the hills. You know, so I'm just looking.
So I mean, what is he saying that's wrong? And he hit the nail on the head. He said he needed to make a transition. He needed to make a transition from his music that reflects the lifestyle that he's living now, not the old Jeezy. He's trying to make that transition without losing everything, and that'll be one challenging thing, because if you're really committed to advertising the new lifestyle that you're living, and you know you're an artist, so you know you got to make that sale. You know that's essentially what you got to do. You got to know you're going to lose a lot, because living a positive lifestyle to where you're speaking positive into people, you're not the cool guy anymore. You're not that guy. You know what I'm saying? And that unfortunately doesn't sell. That doesn't sell records. That's not gonna get you money. Because if that was the case, Dr. Cornel West would be probably, you know, the top 3 rich people here on earth right now. You know, Martin Luther King probably, you know, will be out there. But, you know, they're not, unfortunately. So, you know, that's one sacrifice that you got to make. And a lot of these individuals that's making a music that doesn't even reflect their lifestyle, but they're selling it because it does make money. A lot of these rappers don't live the life they rapping about. We know that for a fact. It's like wrestling, you know, it's fake. They're only doing that to make money. And once they get into a position to where they're making a lot of money and that's their main income, there's no going back for them. You're not going to go back and be poor. This is what you have to do from now on is glamorize this lifestyle that you know is only detrimental to you and your people. There's no positive spin on that. You know what I'm saying? So you got to give credit when credit is due.
At some point, and Trick was like, he was like the god down there. And he was just speaking real talk, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm about my money and all those songs he had, like I just resonated with it, and that's when I was kind of getting a little Florida vibe. But to answer your question, like, to me, the biggest entrepreneurs I saw that I could figure out how they was doing it was the Master P's and the Cash Money, because they was showing us all the stuff that we wanted. Like when you first saw the Hunt video, like I'd never seen a yellow Ferrari in the middle of the projects. Like I wanted that, you know? And I went out and I achieved that. I got the yellow Ferrari. I got the 2-3 Rolexes at one time. I had the GS 400 Lexus, the GS 300 Lexus, but I was watching them, right? So that made me want to do what they was doing, because that was the only way I saw that you can get money. Now, what made me change my life was when I was in boot camp, and the first time I heard over the radio, Dear Mama and So Many Tears from Tupac. Now that's when it changed on a
personal.
I love what Cash Money and No Limit was doing this musically, but like Tupac touched me, bro. Like he was my preacher, my mentor, my go-to. Like this is how I'm learning, and because like I said again, like, you know, when you come up the way we come up, a lot of people didn't have morals and values at that time because they was just trying to survive. So I was getting all my morals from Tupac. That's how I kind of knew what not to do, what not to say, and how not to talk and how not to be. And to me, when music affects you like that, that's something different. You know, because you listen to music nowadays, people just, you know, they say whatever and it sounds good, but like nobody's like touching the hearts women, men, and children. You know, like Pac, and that's what I was trying to do. I was trying to touch the hearts of women, men, and children, and that's what made me want to do it.
I love.
So, I mean, once again, he is just highlighting one thing that I think only real listeners to hip hop and even R&B to a certain extent could really truly understand and appreciate. And Dr. Cornel West says this a lot of times. When it comes to music and black people, it's a whole different thing than just listening to music. Like, you grew up on this, you inspired to be some of these individuals, you look up to these people, you take what they say as gospel truth. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, once again, this could be its own video. It is really important that these artists, especially today, I mean, I think the moral standard was a lot higher back then. So a lot of, the artists that I kind of heard my mom listening to, they weren't talking like they were today, because they had a higher standard. But I don't think this new generation really can really grasp that what they say can have an effect on real life people. Your fake life that you're portraying will have real consequences to your listeners because they take that as truth. They see the lifestyle that you live in, and they're looking at their environment like, well, I ain't gonna get that working at, this 7-Eleven making, $9 an hour, and I'm gonna get my money one way or another. So now, once again, that's not an excuse to do what you want and go sell drugs and rob people and kick down doors. You can't be doing that. But it's a lifestyle that you're saying, if you're not living this lifestyle, you ain't nothing, essentially. So I don't know, let those who have ears, let them hear.
Will, before it's over with.
And I love how you broke down where you were at in that moment when the truth played.
Yeah.
It was like, stay strapped because it came.
Oh no, it was.
You made a choice.
It was there.
It was right there.
Ace was queued up.
That's right.
Ace was ready to go. He could have set it off.
That's right.
And I just, in my mind, I just said what I had to say because it didn't affect me then. It's not gonna affect me now. And we already done went through about 15 years of this.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm moving on, bro. And that's in front of the world, right? In front of everybody that respects me and might not respect me tomorrow, but they ain't got shit to do with my kids, my life, my legacy, none of that. We all have to do things that are unfavorable to change and save lives. And I'll take that. I mean, somebody might say, man, I feel like you was this for not doing that. That's how you feel, bro. But if you ain't seeing these guys die, because I'm not even talking about just rappers. I'm talking about people that I know from the streets. You know what I'm saying? It's like it never stops. My stepmom just called me. Her nephew just got killed. He was over my house last Father's Day. I'm a good kid. And I'm just like, damn. Like, he ain't got nothing to do with but they're listening to us. So let me be the person to take that lick for all of us, right? And that's why I stopped the book there, because I'm going on to live my new life.
Right.
And if y'all want Jeezy, he back there. Now, if you want J. Jeezy Jenkins, he's at the Breakfast Club.
Right.
You feel me?
And Adversity for Sale is in stores right now.
That's right. The book is out right.
J. Jeezy Jenkins. All right. So that's one thing you will never hear a Candace Owens, Officer Tatum, anyone really on the right, especially if they got some color in their skin. They're not going to talk about an interview like this. They'll talk about every single rapper that does X, Y, and Z that will bolster up their talking points. They talk about rappers all the time, but only when it benefits them. But then we'll never show something like this where someone, the snowman, they called him the snowman for a reason. You know what I'm saying? Go do your research. But now he's making a transition, and he's trying to continue to make music, but his new lifestyle. And I'm gonna have to check out some of his newer music, because I want to be able to support somebody like that. You know what I'm saying? I think people can change, and if you give them the opportunity and the knowledge and the wisdom with a little experience, because sometimes it might take that extra little kick from God to kind of make those changes. I want to be able to support someone like that. You know what I'm saying? So I want Jeezy to go ahead and hold his constituents, his other partners, his other rap colleagues. I don't know what you call it. I want him to hold hip hop to a higher standard. Is that so difficult to want? Because I know hip hop can offer more than what's being offered today. I grew up on it. And, I love my music. You know what I'm saying? And if we can make a change by force, I honestly, I think that's what it's going to take, because it's a lot of greedy people that won't let that go. It's not going to be easy, but I applaud and I give Jeezy Jenkins, okay, his roses now, and I applaud him for making this change for himself, for his family, for his kids, and set an example for hip hop. That's all he can do as one man. So, but of course, if you think I'm wrong for whatever reason, if you think Young Jeezy is still portraying the life that he used to live and he's still no good, or if you think that hip hop is a lost cause at this point, and you just wish that it would just be eradicated throughout the earth, you know what I'm saying, like a Thanos snap, go ahead, do that, and hip hop is gone. You know what I'm saying? If that's you, let me know in the comments. And like always, let's have that conversation.
Thank you for listening, and don't forget to join the conversation by subscribing. Make sure to tune in next time, and like always, power to you, power to me, power to the people, power to the pod.